So, hope all is well. Want to take a quick minute. As you guys can tell, Argentinian investors are trapped into the system as their economy implodes. So, I remember, mentioning this earlier. I think it was last year and the beginning of this year. My thoughts and predictions on where the Argentinian economy would unfortunately have to go, and it's going to go the route of Venezuela at the end of the day. And it's just the beginning, just the tip of the iceberg because they are also in a situation where their political system is very problematic, especially as I think in November-ish, they're going to have possibly a new president, and that president is not necessarily market friendly. So a lot of activity will happen between now and then. But I wanted to share a quick thought as well as an article that I think you guys should definitely check out because it's one of them things where if you see and feel tremors in the economy or just in life in general, then you kind of get an idea that something's brewing, and it's possibly in your best interest to begin preparation for whatever it is coming. And speaking about the economy, especially when you're in a country that's known for defaulting on loans. So I think since their independence, several decades ago, it's been about 8 or 9 defaults to where they've borrowed and reneged on their promises, and as a result of that, the very debt they borrow, it shows up and it reveals itself in their currency. So the peso has been changed several times over the last decade, so it's nothing new. But what really strikes me as a surprise, this article here gives some details as of how yesterday a lot of investors, and so just this article itself talks about, it actually gives an account of one investor, how when he arrived at work, his phone was blowing up from everybody trying to sell and get out. Problem was, whenever there's an emergency, everybody rushes to the door. What happens? It's usually clogged up and you can't get out. So what do? They shut the door on you and they won't allow you out. So that's what's happening right now in Argentina. It's been happening, I'm assuming, for the last couple of weeks, but just hitting the mainstream news story. And it all has to do with the recent downgrade as well as just basically, the President Macri coming out and saying that, hey, we have to readjust or slowly default or whatever they're trying to redefine a default at this current moment, other than just saying we're not going to pay and we're going to just kick the can down the road and go that way. But because as of now, there's $57 billion tied up into the Argentinian economy, of which a good portion has been delivered. And I saw the breakdown of it, and it looks like the U.S. taxpayers are the ones that contributes to the IMF funds are on the hook for several billion. But this is a warning. The economy is slowing down. The global economy has been slowing down. The central banks are doing the best they can to prop this thing up. They're already making maneuvers behind the scenes to transition us into another system somehow, some way. But the goal is, how can you get out of this old system, which has been saturated with debt? The debt system has ran its course. It is crumbling right now. Countries around the world are already in recessions. And then here you'll have President Trump just this morning tweeted once again about how strong our economy is. And my question is, if the economy is so strong, why do you have to continue to sell it to the American public? It should be obvious. So clearly our president is using some metrics or some gimmicks or some hype that's on his own, not in relation to, not in reality with what's happening in the Main Street economy. And so this article here gives a lot more details. I want to leave it for you guys to go through it. But once again, when I saw this, wasn't surprised. The peso dollar right now is about 59 or 58 to 1. But yet just, a couple months ago, it was, 30 something. And then I remember a couple years ago, it was, 18. And then when I was there in Argentina last, it just left 18 with the 15 to 1. So by the end of this year, it's going to be closer to 90 to 100 to 1. And then that right there spells hyperinflation territory. Inflation right now is already extremely high. So there's a lot of problems in Argentina. And so it's wintertime there now. And as they get into the spring and into the summer, especially, summer will be this coming December. And when summer hits, you can expect protests, riots, civil unrest, you name it, all because, the economy is crumbling. But yet that's just because they don't have a currency that people want. Right now, we got the reserve currency, so that buys us time. So what I'm saying is you have time because the dollar, as of today, the Dixie is increasing, which is becoming problematic because, once again, President Trump calling out the Fed again, saying that, hey, we need a weaker dollar. We need to do what other central banks around the world are doing. So, hey, Fed, they're behind the curve. Let's get on track. What does that mean? He wants to depreciate and devalue your currency more, inflate the monetary base, and try to wipe away the debt eventually that way by ultimately defaulting. And so just want to share a quick thought. Let me know your thoughts down below. Are you paying attention to these warnings? If they're trapped in the door and can't get out when they're trying to get out, the warning signs have been there all along. They should have been out if they were going to get out months, even a year ago. But yet it's just the idea. And so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to show you a good way of trying to better understand this whole risk category. So on the screen right here, I have John Exter's pyramid. And this basically is from a central banker several decades ago. John Exter, who's an economist, gave us a visual diagram of what it's like to be at the very top, where all investors, unfortunately, in order to get gains and in order to adapt that pyramid, the retirement pyramid model, you have to put your things in the things up top. And so the things up top are the more riskier things. And so the lower you get to this pyramid, the less risky, less risk you take on, because you have less counterparty risk, less systemic contagion to world events, because you're getting physical. The lower you get to this pyramid, the more physical you become. And of course, you all know if you don't hold it, you don't own it. So right now, people who are rushing out in Argentina, they're realizing that they truly don't own those things because they can't get it when they want. So I thought I would just share this quick thought. Let me know what your thoughts are about this whole thing. Do you see this, getting better or worse? I'm curious to find out. And, what are some takeaways that you can get from what's happening down in Argentina and what's happening in Venezuela and Zimbabwe right now, and you name it. Things are going down. Hopefully you're aware and you're realizing the tremors are already in place. Now it's just a matter of when the big quake happens. And will you still be in the system trying to get out as far as all the things that you believe are yours that, once again, unfortunately, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. So sorry to rant forever. But as always, if you've enjoyed this, feel free to share this. Please share this with your family and friends, because a lot of people don't know this. They won't read nothing about Argentina just because it doesn't affect them directly. But yet, there's 30, 40, I think, million people down there that, of course, wouldn't want this to happen, but it is happening. So it's a reality for some people. But as well, make sure you hit the subscribe button with the notification bell, because as always, the content is usually there. People want to hear it, but YouTube won't push it to them. And then also, if you have not, fact that the RTD Scary George coin is still available, want to bring that to your attention. Definitely get your weight up, because for those that are in the know, and if paper is not what it's supposed to be, then your best bet is make sure you hold something tangible, and silver will definitely be of asset to you long term. But other than that, love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment down below. Thanks.